Welcome back to I Am Mimi Rose. I am Mimi. For today's video, I wanted to come on and do a story time on my second C-section with my daughter. She is currently 4 months, but I just wanted to go into detail on what happened from beginning to end. Okay, so I honestly don't remember when my due date was, my original due date, because since this was going to be my second C-section, me and my doctor just decided to go ahead and just have a scheduled repeat C-section, and the due date for that was January 8th, 2020. My daughter was actually born January 2nd, 2020, and I'll just go into how that day started and came about to her being born. Okay, so just to start off, that night of January 2nd, so like January 1st, midnight-ish, I was having a nightmare. I can't remember all the details, but I know that I was upset with somebody and we were going back and forth. So that morning I woke up, my heart was racing. I felt that I was gonna have high blood pressure. When, you know, if you've ever had a baby, you go for your routine checkups, they check your blood pressure. I felt like my numbers were going to be high. So I got ready, went to the doctor's appointment. I actually decided to go with my mom this time. So I went with my mom. She joined me. I was in the waiting room for about an hour. I was really getting impatient. I'm 9 months pregnant, ready to have this baby, aggravated, tired, the whole nine. So after about an hour, they called us in the bag. She took my blood pressure. She took it twice, and she made it seem as though the second number was better than the first. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then we do the ultrasound. This was supposed to be my last ultrasound until, you know, the day I'm supposed to give birth. I do the ultrasound. Everything is fine. She says she's going to share the results with the doctor. If you hear noise in the background, that's the baby. She said that she was going to go share the results with the doctor. And she's done this before, so I didn't think nothing of this. But what really got me thinking like something is wrong is when she asked me and my mother to go wait in the hallway. They have a little waiting room in the hallway. So they asked us to go wait in the hallway. So after about 5-10 minutes, the doctor comes and sits down in front of me and my mom. She basically is saying that the blood pressure is too high for me to be in this stage of pregnancy. I honestly don't remember the numbers. I wish I did, but it was too high for me being 9 months pregnant. So basically she just expressed how much she feels that as though it would be a good idea to just go ahead and take the baby out that same day. She said the baby's healthy, the baby has grown as much as it needs to grow. At that point, she was 38 weeks. She was going to be born on the January 8th, which would be 39 weeks, but 38 weeks she came out. Of course, I was scared. I actually wanted to wait. As crazy as it sounds, I actually wanted to wait till January 8th. I was asking her, like, for her honest opinion, would it be wise to wait another week to have her, because my son's birthday is January 4th. Remember, this is January 2nd, so January 4th is my son's birthday. So I actually wanted to wait till his birthday passed because we had plans to go to Monkey Joe's and, you know, have his last birthday as the only child. So, of course, that didn't happen the way it did. The doctor was like basically saying no, she wouldn't suggest it. So when she said that, I know what I had to do. We went home, packed the bag, packed the baby bag, headed over to the hospital, registered, got me in a gown, was taking blood. And I had to wait a few hours. I would say I got to the hospital around maybe 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and I didn't have my C-section until 5:30ish. I had to wait till a few hours because I had breakfast that morning. Even though it was a small breakfast, they made me wait a couple hours in order for us to start the surgery. So at this point, it's my mom, my 2-year-old son, well, soon to be 2-year-old son. This was 2 days before his birthday, and my husband in the waiting room. In the triage room, waiting for the doctor to arrive. Once the doctor arrived, then we knew it was game time. He was gonna let us know how the surgery was gonna go, and then we were gonna have the surgery. So he came in around 5:30, I want to say, around 5:30, and he spoke to us, and I was getting prepped. They gave my husband the gown and the head cover and the shoe cover so he can go into the surgery room too. They rolled me in there, and I had to sit on a table so I can get my spinal tap. I had to hunch over so they can put the spinal tap in. Before it kicked in, they made sure I laid down on the table. So once the anesthesiologist was done with that, I went directly to the table, laid down. They put the oxygen mask on me, and then I started to feel the medication kick in. My legs were becoming heavy, and I felt nauseous. Apparently, that's a side effect of the spinal tap. I felt very nauseous. I told the anesthesiologist, because they stand right here behind you. I told the anesthesiologist that I was about to throw up, so she gave me a bag. So the doctors get to cutting, and I'm feeling, this time is different from my son. My son, I felt a lot of pressure, but I was starting to feel some pain. It was very uncomfortable. So I told her like, I need more medicine. I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling them. I wouldn't say that I felt like the actual knife cutting me. I wouldn't say that, but like my daughter, her placenta was anterior, meaning the placenta was in front of her, and she was more towards my back. So being more towards my back, they really had to dig in for her. And as they were digging in for her, I like felt like they were pulling my stomach up, and that felt very painful. So I kept telling her like, I need more. I feel pain. I feel pain. I feel pain. And I kept feeling nauseous. Oh, let me back up. Before they started cutting me open, I was starting to feel nauseous, and then I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I could not breathe. Apparently, this is a side effect too, but I did not experience this with my son. I had my son 2 years ago. I remember my son's surgery vividly, so I did not experience this. Felt like something was sitting on my chest. I kept telling her, I cannot breathe. I can't breathe. She was like, it's okay. The medicine is kicking in. I'm like, I can't breathe. I cannot breathe. I felt like I was going to pass out. Like that was my last day on earth. I was going to be done with. I was about to throw up. I felt sick, and I felt like I could not breathe. I felt like something was sitting on my chest. So fast forward back to when I felt the pain. So she kept putting in more doses of the medicine, and it was helping. It was helping. Each time she put in more, less and less pain. But the fact that I felt pain was just mind blowing to me, because I didn't feel this. I've never felt this before. Prior to my son's C-section 2 years ago, I've never had a surgery, so I was actually feeling pain. So it took them a minute to get to her, and they finally got to her, pulled her out. Once they took her out, she was screaming to the top of her lungs. She was screaming so loud and for so long. And me hearing that just touched my heart. I was boo-hoo crying. And everybody was like, are you okay? Like, I seemed as though like I was still in pain or something, but I was just happy that she was finally out. They took a minute. My husband went over to where they was cleaning her off and weighing her. It took a minute for her to get to me, but when I saw her, I cried even more. Yeah, and she came out looking just like her dad. Same hairline, same everything, just real light skin. And while I'm focusing on the fact that I'm listening to her cry, and my husband goes over to her, I hear the doctors like talking loudly, and we're like, what's wrong? So the doctor basically said that after they pulled her out, a gush of blood came out right after her. He said, I lost about 1 liter of blood. Basically, the placenta had separated from the uterus, causing bleeding on the inside, and that most likely was the cause of my high blood pressure. So basically, if I never would have went to the doctor that morning and seen that my blood pressure was so high, if I would have had an emergency at home, me driving to the doctor or me calling an ambulance, I probably wouldn't have enough time, and I could have lost her, or I could have lost my own life. It was a lot of. So at the end of the day, I'm just really grateful and thankful to God that I'm here, she's here and healthy, very chunky, and just a happy baby. I'm very grateful. Now, after we leave the operating room, we go over back to the room that we were in before the surgery. We were just sitting in there waiting for some time to pass. I'm not allowed to eat at this point, but I'm begging for at least some ice chips because my mouth was so dry. I couldn't drink nothing, couldn't eat anything, but I was just asking for some ice chips. It took them about 45 minutes to an hour to just give me some ice chips, but eventually I got it. But after that, the next day, I was only allowed to be on a liquid diet. So there's chicken broth, apple juice, water, anything liquid. I had to stay on that diet for about 24 hours. 24 hours that I was on that liquid diet. I was comparing things to my son, and I was expecting to be eating by like 5 p.m. the next day, January 3rd. But that didn't happen. 5 o'clock passed, 10 o'clock passed, I still didn't eat. 10 p.m. passed, I still didn't eat. I was really cranky. I was sitting in the same position for 24 hours. And on top of that major surgery that I just had, my daughter, her bilirubin levels were high. So therefore she had to stay under the light for, I want to say about 24 hours. 24, more than that, but that first day she had to be in there the whole day, and that was new. She had to wear the glasses, so I had to make sure that, not glasses, but they're like eye mask. She had to have those on her eyes, so I had to make sure that it wasn't slipping off and the light wasn't aiming in her eyes. So like I really didn't get no sleep. I was in the same position for hours, and I didn't have anything to eat. So January 3rd, they're about to give us we switched rooms at least twice at this point. So they're transferring us to our final room, and they said, okay, you can eat. They brought me the food, but right after they brought me the food, they said that we had to switch rooms. Okay, so we're packing up the stuff. There's about 3 or 4 nurses helping us transfer the stuff from one room to the next, and apparently somebody forgot the food in the room and they threw it away. So I didn't have anything to eat again. I was upset, but I was just glad I could finally take a shower, because that was one of the other things I couldn't do for 24 hours. I couldn't walk, I couldn't get up. I sat in the same position for 24 hours, and then once that time frame was up, I got in the shower and I believe they gave me some snacks from the cafeteria, like crackers, cookies, graham cracker cookies, stuff like that. But I didn't really have a meal till January 4th. And I did mention that January 4th is my son's birthday, so I wasn't able to spend his birthday with him that day. But my husband did bring him by to come see me and the baby. He was not paying attention to that baby. He said hi to me, and he was ready to go to Monkey Joe's. They stopped by the hospital to see me before he had his little birthday party. And the next day, January 5th, I was discharged, and we were discharged. And as of today, she is 4 months, like I said earlier. She's a handful. She eats a lot, she laughs a lot, she talks a lot. She's moving quick. She's moving pretty quick. She is already teething. I can see some teeth underneath her gums. Yeah, she's amazing. Well, thank you guys for tuning into my channel. Like, subscribe, comment. I would love to hear your feedback and look forward for more videos.